What is up, heroes? It's Midnight Zero, and welcome back to Let's Play Corpse Party Book of Shadows. In the last episode, we went through some of the alternate endings for Chapter 2, and they took forever. When I was editing that episode, I realized they went on for almost an hour, which is pretty crazy. But in this episode, we are going to be going for Chapter 3, which we have a few endings to go through. But when it really comes down to it, if I recall correctly, this chapter is pretty quick. There's very little gameplay in which, like, you actually move around. It's really just that kind of visual novel aspect, and it's going to be pretty easy to get through if I am correct. So, yeah, look forward to that. We're going to be Yui Sensei. We're going to be back in that classroom. We're going to make all the different decisions, hide behind the podium or in the closet, or I forget what all of them were, but should be interesting to see what happens. So, yeah, I'll see you guys then. Alright, so here we are with the very first one. It's raining outside. We have the choice between standing at the teacher's podium or leaving the room. I think what we're going to do is leave the room this time. I think we actually... Yeah, last time we chose to stand at the podium, I believe. Okay, I really don't have time to play around right now. I should get out of here. I decided it would be best to put my yearnings aside and leave the classroom behind. Well, that particular wonder turned out to be nothing at all, it seems. Guess it's all just superstition. I don't know about that. I couldn't believe I'd gotten all indignant with Tsukasa over something so trivial. Thinking about it now, it seemed kind of ridiculous. Alright, time to head home. I have to get to bed early, so I'll be ready for tomorrow. Just bit my tongue. Yikes. With this in mind, I walked toward the classroom door and took one step out in the hall. When suddenly, uh-oh. Huh? What? It sounded like the door closed, but what's going on? The door slid shut on its own with incredible force, and my neck was trapped in the narrow opening that remained. Yikes. I dug my nails in the door, frantically trying to open it back up. But the more I pushed on it, the more it pushed back, further constricting my neck. I was flailing my limbs, twisting and contorting my body, trying everything I could to escape. Why? Yeah, this is pretty odd, I'd imagine. My neck was clamped tightly. I could feel the blood rushing to my head. I couldn't breathe. Opening my mouth in terror, I stuck my tongue out as if trying to swallow the air. Forcefully shaking my head left and right, I swiveled my body to face the ceiling. That's when I saw the tall, pitch-black silhouette of a person. That's a pleasant noise. Yikes. A silent scream squirmed its way out of my throat, but the door was still pressing onto my neck. I can't. Tsukasa-kun! No, not Tsukasa-kun! My vision whirled and I felt a sensation of falling. At the same time, a lukewarm liquid began pouring over my face. Did her neck, like, snap from the force? As I was struggling to make sense of what was happening to me, the door that had been violently crushing my neck quietly slid open. The floor of the schoolhouse came down hard on my head. My vision had gone white and begun blurring, but I could still see. Just enough to see the spooky thing. I can see my body. I was rolling across the hallway, and there, in the doorframe, I caught sight of my own headless torso collapsing in a heap on the floor. Yep, I figured as much. What just happened? At least they're not showing us the headless torso. That would be kind of creepy. The last thing I saw out of the corner of one bloodshot, unfocusing eye was the familiar figure of the old woman from this morning. Are they going to show it? No, they're not. I got a little on end there as I was waiting for, like, the picture of the old woman in some scary pose to come on up, but interesting. Yeah, not like too crazy of a wrong end by any means, but certainly not bad. So that's the first wrong end. I will see you guys for the next one. Alright, so here we are. You notice the creepy music. We've already chosen to stand at the teacher's podium unlike last wrong end. But now we have the choice between the supply locker and the teacher's podium. And I believe the first time around we stood by the teacher's podium, but we're actually going to go to the supply locker now. I'd also like to mention, let me know if the video seems a little bit off this video. For some reason, my recording mechanism wasn't picking anything up the normal way it would. I don't remember changing anything, but suddenly I wasn't able to record Corpse Party. And so I'm trying a little bit of an alternate method. I'm just not 100% sure how the quality is going to turn out. So let me know what you guys think, or if you're able to notice anything different. I hurriedly squeezed myself into the metal locker where the classroom's cleaning supplies were kept. It was still pitch black in the room, so I really couldn't spare the time it would take to remove its contents. Instead, I just contorted myself to fit. This reminds me of, like, Outlast. Little pig. The locker was thick with the smells of mold and varnish. Yikes. If I can hold my breath for just a little while, I think I'll be safe in here. So I waited. I waited for the footsteps to pass by and fade into the distance, signaling that it was safe to emerge. Whoever it is had better hurry. I feel like I'm going to suffocate if I'm in here for much longer. Still, it felt a lot safer in the locker than it did out in the room. But the footsteps weren't receding. They were just getting louder, closer, faster. Uh-oh. Yikes. That is a creepy sound. And then they're just going to stop. And then they came to a sudden halt. Huh? They were close, just outside the locker. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I peered through the ventilation holes amidst the utter darkness of the classroom. There wasn't a soul to be seen. I don't know about that, Yui-sensei. I'm okay. As long as I stay in here, I'll be fine. Not sure why I believe that. Maybe because I needed to. Maybe because it was so dark, or because I felt so much calmer in such a tight space where nothing could possibly sneak up behind me. But then, I didn't know why, and I didn't care. I just knew that, as far as I was concerned, I was safe in here. So I stood motionless and cramped, and I waited. I didn't have to wait long. Oh no. What was that? It sounded like a door locking. Suddenly apprehensive, I gently nudged the supply closet door just to make sure it would still open for me when I wanted it to. Oh no, do we get locked in the supply closet? Oh no, it's locked. Found you. Oh, that is scary. That's creepy. I let out a sudden yelp at this unknown voice and tried with all my might to push open the door, blocking my escape. No, no, please, let me out, let me out! Is somebody still here? You'll need to be punished for that. There was a brief moment of silence following the eerie voice's unsettling proclamation. And then... Oh no, she's gonna crush the locker! Crash, crunch, the metal walls all around me on all four sides began warping inward as if the supply locker had somehow been fed into a trash compactor. Oh no, this is an awful way to die. What's going on? There was no force I can imagine that should have been able to do this, but it was happening. This already confined space was steadily closing in on me, and she's already contorted and everything. It hurts. Open the door. Let me out. Crash, crunch, the collapse of the locker all around me continued, slowly and steadily. I could feel all manner of things pushing and cutting into my body. Yikes. My vision went bright red. One of the blood vessels in my eyes probably burst from the pressure. I wasn't going to last much longer. The ventilation holes in the locker door were now pressed right up against my face, and through them I could just barely make out the figure of a person. It was the old woman from this morning. She was standing just outside the slats, staring right into my eyes. At least these endings confirm that she is the old lady. It was the last sight I would ever see as the locker finally, inevitably smashed in my skull. Crash, crunch, crack, splat. Such an interesting dynamic. Like, why was she all crazy about don't going? Is she, like, personally split? I don't know. Like, doesn't want Yui-sensei to die, so she says, like, don't go to the school. I know you're going to go to the school, and I'm going to be the one to eventually kill you, or something like that. Not 100% sure there, but, oof. Little cringy wrong end. The wrong ends thus far in this chapter have been very visually, like, non-existent, but from an imaginative standpoint have been pretty rough. But, alright, I'll see you guys in the next wrong end. Alright, so we're back here again. So now we're going to continue a little bit more on the positive route. We're going to hide at the teacher's podium like we did last time. We're going to hurry it up. And you remember this, she shows up and then she's essentially right behind us, and that's not good. We can choose to either stay hidden or make a break for it. I think we actually chose stay hidden the first time around, and it didn't turn out so well. So this time we're actually going to make a break for it. And I think we just barely escape in time. Something like that. Now, we have the choice between the bag of salt or the broom. I think I chose bag of salt because of like burning some witch or something like that. But in this case, we're going to either let time run out or choose the broom. So, we'll choose the broom for the sake of it. A broom from the cleaning supply locker. That might work. Maybe I could fend her off with it. It was a long shot, but it was better than just standing around and getting caught. What do I do now? What do I do? When I looked over, the spirit of the old woman was holding out her hand from the other side of the door frame. She really was trying to catch me. I wasn't just being paranoid. She was going to kill me and turn me into a ghost like her. I was convinced this had to be Yoshie, the teacher from that urban legend. I couldn't waste any more time. I darted out through the back door of the classroom into the safe end of the hall. I was running at top speed, hoping to escape behind the spirit's back. Gotta go fast. Endeavor. The spirit saw me and moved at breakneck speed to intercept. Stop! You've got this broom, back off! I impulsively thrust the broom out and stabbed her in the eye with it. Oh wow, I'm surprised you can stab a ghost in the eye, but take that, I thought. But my moment of bravado was short-lived. The broom immediately shattered into a million pieces. If my attack accomplished anything, it just made her mad. Yikes. How does that work? Huh? Ah! I had the sudden sensation of someone seizing me by the throat, accompanied by an unpleasant crunching sound. God, she really did have me by the throat. I couldn't breathe. For as old and frail as she looked, she was uncommonly strong. She's a ghost. Gotcha. This doesn't spell very well for Yui Sensei, to say the least. She was actually gripping me so tightly that she'd managed to raise me off the ground. By my neck. It's like in the movies, or the cartoons. I could see her slender, bony hand in the periphery of my vision, and feel it cutting into my trachea. Was that hand really holding me in the air, against my will, kicking and flailing by just the tissue and bones of my neck? I couldn't struggle anymore. I was like a puppet on a string. Tag, you're it. Oh, you want to play tag, Yoshie? Don't worry, I'm down for that. I'm a run and hide real quick, and then you can come after me. I know that's hide and seek, but hide and go seek tag was actually a really fun game as a kid. I like the combination of it, but nevertheless, with a sudden crack, my field of vision shifted 90 degrees and everything turned blood red. So neck snapped. Oh my, just like me. Oh yeah, just like when she fell down the stairs, I think. Alright, so that's the end of that wrong end. That was a relatively quick one. Poor Yui Sensei, having to go through all this. And I believe we only have one more wrong end for this chapter, going a lot more quickly than chapter 2. That's for sure. But anyways, I'll see you guys for that last wrong end in just a second. Alright, unsurprisingly, we're going to start from here again. So we chose to go to the teacher's podium, and now we're going to choose to stay at the teacher's podium. And these events are going to happen again. This is so nice that we could just speed through all of this. And now we're going to make a break for it. Unlike the other chapter where we had to really explore around and everything, and it's really difficult to navigate. But now we're going to choose the bag of salt, which is the correct option. Works out pretty well so far. This is the same as, I think, the good one. Now, I believe we chose break the glass last time. Now we're going to choose run somewhere else. That's right, I think we choose to break the glass and then we start like crawling out and Tsukasa like pulls us through or something. I have no choice, I have to keep running. I have to find someplace else. Or maybe I could hide somewhere and throw Yoshie off my trail. Let's find out. I had no particular destination in mind. My only thought was anywhere but here. After maybe 30 seconds, I found myself in the second floor hallway. There was an outside corridor connecting the two buildings of the school there, and it was the first alternate escape route that came to mind. Naturally, it was walled off from the outside for safety purposes, but the wall wasn't so big that I couldn't scale it in a pinch. Yui-sensei, so athletic. I didn't really want to jump from the second floor of the school, but if I had to, I was confident that I'd at least survive the fall with minimal injury, which is better than, anticipated death. I should consider that a last resort. For now, let's just get out of sight. I climbed the wall faster than I thought possible and dropped down to the narrow ledge on the other side. It was just wide enough to sit down. My back was to the hallway, but my location should have been completely hidden from anyone inside the school. I looked down at the muddy ground below. Also, I should mention, real quick jumping in, a little tip, not that I've ever had to use it, not that I ever want to have to use it, but if you are ever having to jump from a ledge or something like that where you anticipate you might get injured from the fall, before jumping, hang from the ledge first and drop from that. It'll cut at least your body length, or your body's height from the fall, and it means you won't gain any extra, downward momentum from jumping up a little bit. So, would highly recommend doing that, if at all necessary, even though I hope it's never actually necessary. I really couldn't see much though. The outside was completely dark. It was so dark that it felt almost like the whole world had been draped in a black veil. Maybe I should just stay here until morning. I mean, even if I ran, I'm pretty sure I'd get caught. I was gonna say, did the music just end there? It sounded so abrupt, but I think it's just looping now. I opened the pen case in my pocket and pulled out the pencil I received from Tsukasa. Tsukasa-kun, please, protect me. Was I really treating this stubby little pencil as a protective charm? Tsukasa said it would guarantee success in my test, not ward off evil spirits. Still, it was better than nothing. I clutched it tightly in my hands and prayed. Please, protect me. I whispered the words so quietly that I might as well have been mouthing them. But that seemed to be all the opening that spirit needed. Oh no. Oh no. I sensed a presence on the ledge with me, and was so startled that I almost fell from my perch. No, please. Why are you doing this? However, I could only sense her there. I didn't actually see her, and thought for one brief moment that maybe I was letting my imagination run wild. For one brief moment. But then I felt the horrible sensation of something coiling itself around my arm. You mustn't go outside. Yikes. Before I knew it, a tall, shadowy figure had half emerged from the wall behind me, and she had me in her grasp. There wasn't much more to her than an indistinct, flickering silhouette, but I could clearly see she had a broken neck. Was this a different apparition? No, I don't think so. Her scraggly, root-like fingers were squeezing my arm with tremendous force, pushing aside muscle and tissue and pressing right on the bone. No, what are you? Where are you going, my dear? I'll just be a little longer, so won't you please wait for me? That hurts, that really hurts. I was shaking hysterically and tears were streaming down my face. I was absolutely convinced that I was going to die here. I'm pretty convinced too, knowing that I know this is a wrong end. Let go of me! Sachi. Interesting. I could offer no resistance. She was too strong. All I could do was plead with her. Stop, please. You're really hurting me. I felt like my arm would snap in two at any moment. Let's be together forever. Do you think like she's maybe to exist as a ghost and, maybe even warn Yui-sensei about things as like this old lady from like a different timeline because she's related to Sachiko or something like that? She wasn't just grabbing, but twisting as well. The pain was unlike anything I'd ever experienced before. I couldn't think about anything else. Stopping it had become my first and only priority. I struggled violently against the spirit's grip, ultimately breaking free by throwing my body off the wall toward the unseen earth below. I can only imagine this is going to turn out well. In the face of death, everything really does seem to slow down. I'd read somewhere that this is because the brain is sending out all kinds of distress signals or something. Slow motion or not though, I was fully aware of my surroundings. I was cascading through the air just outside my school building. Reach out hands or prey upon the pencil. I know that for the wrong end, we were supposed to prey upon the pencil. I don't know if reaching out your hands actually ends up with a good ending or not. Regardless, we're gonna check this out. If this is a dream, please let me wake up from it right now. No, man. Those were the words echoing through my head as I clutched Skasa's pencil tight against my bosom like a prayer talisman. I think that's such a funny word, bosom. Moments later, I crashed into the ground, and a horrible, squelching sound echoed in my ears. My neck was... Yep, I figured that would be how it was. Yoshi's gonna be like, just like me. Skasa's pencil had pierced deep into... Whoa! That's not what I anticipated. Skasa's pencil had pierced deep into my throat. Yikes. Blood was spurting everywhere. I was practically drowning in it. I landed right on it. And it wasn't long before I gasped my final gasp. Yikes. So a little bit of research with this guide shows that if you were to actually reach out your hands, you would get to the true ending as well. I don't know how it would differ. I'm a bit curious, but I don't know if I necessarily want to go through all of that again. Actually, you know what? Let's explore that again. It's technically not a different ending, but I do want to see that little bit of text dialogue that would be different. Or would it even be different? Yeah, no, it would have to be different, right? Skasa's probably going to come up to us and be like, oh yeah, like, what's going on? But I'll check it out in a second. Regardless, let's take a look at our ending list. I think we got them all technically for Chapter 3, and we have them all for Chapter 4. So the next bout we have is the Chapter 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 endings. And given how much exploring there is and actually going from room to room and how long that chapter is, it's going to be really difficult to navigate getting all of the endings for this chapter. So I'm definitely going to save that for another episode. But real quick, before we end off this one, I do want to see what that little bit of text is. So let's head on this way. And thank you so much for this speed up function. It'll make things so much quicker. We can just go here and then speed it all up from there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Chapter 3 endings. I think overall they were pretty neat. They weren't very over the top. They were very kind of cringy, and you know, they were average for Corpse Party endings, which admittedly is not a bad thing. Like, Corpse Party's wrong ends are usually pretty good at conveying that sort of horror, creepy, eerie feel. It kind of gets you to kind of shiver down to your bones. And some are definitely more exceptional than others, but the average is still pretty solid. I do think the visuals were a little bit lacking in this particular set of wrong ends, but even then, that's okay. That's okay. So now we'll reach out our hands and see what happens. I was pretty sure this fall would kill me. With a controlled jump, I might have been able to survive, but I was tumbling like a ragdoll. I was a goner. I couldn't even remember what you were supposed to do in a situation like this. Try to flip over, brace for impact? In one last-ditch attempt at survival, I stretched out both my arms. Maybe somebody would be waiting there to grab them. Maybe somebody would save me. And somebody actually did. I honestly wasn't expecting that. I really thought there was no hope. But then, at the last second, I was yanked to safety. Wow, Tsukasa-kun grabs her out of the air. Tsukasa-kun? Are you okay? Hang on, don't let go. Wow, right. I held onto his arms with all my might, and against seemingly impossible odds, I was pulled in. My life was saved. This was like a scene out of some anime. It shouldn't have happened. It was too convenient, but I wasn't about to complain. That's actually really cool. Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you chose the other route where like you're going through the glass, I think he like goes back into the school and then he leads you here, and then the ending should be the same from here on out. So we'll speed up just so we can get that wonderful picture of the two of them together. But that was pretty neat. That was pretty neat. If you are ever falling in that sort of manner, what you should do, by the way, is attempt to roll upon impact. Increase the surface area of your body that hits the ground at the same time. The smaller that surface area, especially if it's somewhere important, the more likely it is to break because of the increased like force and pressure. So yeah, if you can land on your shoulder and then even better roll along your shoulder with your body, that's the better way to go about it. Again, falling tips from Nick. Not like you should ever have to really use or employ these tips. But if you do, now you know. Aw, look at that picture. So cute. Much appreciated. Good ending, good ending. Oh, that's right, and then the whole Satoshi thing. I totally forgot about that. Oh, man. Chapter 3 was a good chapter overall. I think it started off, I didn't really appreciate the fan service in the beginning, but overall, it was really nice break. Though I wish I went into it knowing it would be a break, because I was always like, wait, when are we going to get back to Heavenly Host? When are we going to get back to Heavenly Host? But I do think the decision tree in the school was actually a really fun experience trying to figure all of that out. I think it was some really cool characterization of Yui Sensei, and we got introduced to this new character, Tsukasa-kun. So yeah, that was really cool. I hope you guys enjoyed Chapter 3. In the next episode, we are going to go over Chapter 5, which will take a while. So hopefully, or that probably is going to end up being one of those, 45-minute or longer episodes. So you guys can at least look forward to that. And I hope you guys are enjoying all of the alternate endings. Let me know what you guys think of these ones that you saw today. But until the next episode, this has been Night Zero, and this mission is complete.